Fox Sports.
We are Blackmore. We are Houston.
We will never forget. It's Heroes Night at the ballpark. It is with reverence and awe that we honor those who are willing to place our lives before theirs. From those who did to those who continue to do so. Houston remembers and salutes you. Tonight, a special salute to the first responders of 9/11 here at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, where it's game 2 of a 3-game series between the Houston Astros and the Chicago Cubs. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Jim DeShays. Somber ceremonies taking place tonight before and during the game, but it is baseball as usual, as we do remember those from 9/11, but also the Astros and Cubs do battle again after the Cubs won the opener last night, JD.
Yeah, a game that lasted almost 4 hours, a total of 5 runs scored in the 4-1 Cub win last night. We're hoping for better things tonight, a pitching matchup that features the youngster Jordan Lyles, working with a 3-11 record, 5.55 ERA. He made his debut last year in Chicago and was dazzling, looking to repeat that performance. Justin Germano back in August beat the Astros. Since then, he's made 4 starts. He has an ERA of 11+ in those 4 games.
Last night, the hitters on both clubs really struggled with men in scoring position. Tonight, as we welcome the military and first responders, it's the Cubs and the Astros on Heroes Night, coming your way next.
Astros baseball, the Chicago Cubs taking on the Astros in the second game of this 3-game series. We know that some of you don't have access to the pregame show that join us for the game telecast. This is what went on the field in honor of 9/11 Heroes Night. members of the police and fire departments, military personnel, both active and retired, all were honored prior to the game on this September 11th. And the fans were quite reverent as the performance and the honoring of those took place. We will have baseball tonight, though. The Astros will take on the Cubs. As you see, some first pitches tossed out, and they all hit the right people because these guys are experts in rescue and search. And then the national anthem was performed at home plate. Well, the Astros have taken the field, and those words, of course, are on the hearts of all as the Astros get set to take on the Cubs. The men upstairs in the booth to call the action, as usual, Bill Brown and Jim Deshaies.
Thank you, Greg Lucas. A special evening to commemorate the efforts of those who do so much for us. Very meaningful pregame ceremonies leading up to this start now for Jordan Lyles and the Chicago Cubs. Starting lineup against Jordan Lyles is brought to you by Hyundai. And the Cubbies, who won last night by a score of 4-1, go with David DeJesus leading it off in center field. Batting second is the third baseman Luis Valbuena. It's Anthony Rizzo at first base. The cleanup man is left fielder Alfonso Soriano. Soriano ranking fourth in runs batted in the National League with 94. Starlin Castro plays shortstop with Steve Clevenger, the catcher, hitting sixth. The right fielder is Brian LaHare. Adrian Cardenas is the second baseman, and Justin Germano is the starting pitcher.
For the Astros tonight, it's Jordan Lyles, and we took a look at his numbers last time out. 1 week ago today against the Pirates, he worked 4 2/3, allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, walked 1, struck out 5. For the year, Jordan now 3-11 with a .555 earned run average.
He'll get going against David DeJesus. DeJesus, who was not in the lineup last night, checks in at .264 for this game with 7 homers, 45 runs batted in, and a .354 on base average. Well, the man who's leading it off for Chicago today. First pitch is strike one for Jordan Lyles, who has no career decisions against the Chicago Cubs. In 2 starts, his ERA against them is 3.46. He made his major league debut against the Cubs at Wrigley Field last year in May and pitched a fine game but got a no decision. It's a 1-1 count to DeJesus.
7 innings of 2-run baseball in that game, pitched against the Cubs also in July of last year at Wrigley. 6 innings, 3 runs allowed in that ball game. This is the first time he has faced them here in 2012.
It's in the air to Justin Maxwell in center. He romps around under this one, and it's out number 1.
Let's take a look now at the Astros defensively. You saw Justin in center. He's got Martinez on one side, Bogusevic on the other. Dominguez has played airless baseball at the big league level this year. Tyler Green is short. Paredes is still buying time for Jose Altuve at second base. Wallace first and Corcoran behind the plate.
Altuve is available to pinch hit tonight and probably will be the starting lineup tomorrow night, we were told. Feeling much better with that abdominal muscle strain. Luis Valbuena taking the first pitch there for strike one, falls behind Jordan Lyles. He's at .222 with 4 homers. He's driven in 25. Plays second base and third base. And one bounces up there for Valbuena, who's 26 years old, from Venezuela, former Cleveland Indian, Seattle Mariner. Rizzo's on deck with Valbuena batting. Valbuena's made some good plays at third base against the Astros this year. Played a little third in the game late last night. Fouls it back, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Cubs claimed him on waivers in April of this year from Cleveland. Lyles throws ball 2, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Jordan here at home is 2-4 with a 4.26 ERA this season. Cubs have won 4 straight on the road. They have really turned around their road trip after starting 0-4 at Washington. Little chop goes foul for Carlos Corcoran.
They swept the Pirates and then won game 1 of this series last night. The Pirates have continued their losing ways after being swept by the Cubs. They went into Cincinnati and got beat in the 14th inning last night, despite having the bases loaded and nobody out in the top of the 14th. So The slide is on in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, it's a hard loss to handle.
They're down 4-1 already tonight, and what seemed like highly improbable is now looking quite possible, and that would be another sub 500 season for the Pirates.
Oh. Ground ball and off the glove of Jimmy Paredes on through into right field. He tried to play it off to the side and didn't come up with it, and Valbuena reaches.
Jimmy Paredes is very athletic. He made a tremendous play last night, turning a double play. But you would never call him graceful or smooth as a defender in the infield. Just kind of gets caught in between on this one. It should be an E4.
And it is. His second error of the season. Anthony Rizzo comes up. Rizzo struggled last season in his first trip to the big leagues. This year, much better. 295, 12 homers, 34 runs batted in for Anthony, and an 816 OPS for 68 games.
He has big time power. I was watching him take BP, and he was hitting some majestic shots.
He's had a very nice road trip, going 11 for 31 with 2 homers. 1 ball, 1 strike to Rizzo. And against right-handers, he's done a lot of damage, hitting .348 with 9 homers. Rizzo's been traded twice already in his young career. Jed Hoyer, the general manager, has traded for him a couple of times. Once when Jed was with San Diego, and then this past January, he made the Andrew Cashner deal with San Diego to get him in a Cubs uniform. 1-2 to Rizzo. Rizzo, just 23 years old, from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He had limited stage Hodgkin's lymphoma in '08. It's in, and it's 2-2. Paul Nauert is the home plate umpire.
Fastball, cutter, curveball, changeup are the pitches for Jordan Lyles. Velocity averaging about 92, and we've seen him as high as 96 this year.
3-2 now. Lyles has walked 34 in 118 innings. Jordan has gone through the early innings with a low ERA this season. Normally gets started well in the game.
Fell off the back of the mound after that pickoff throw.
Yeah, he did. Took a little walk. Valbuena is 0 for 2 in base stealing. He's going. That's a liner to left field. And it's caught by Fernando Martinez, sending Valbuena back to first on out number 2. Well hit ball by Rizzo. The left fielder, of course, plays closer to the infield in this ballpark because of that left field wall behind him. And that can take some hits away. Pretty well hit line drives. Sometimes are caught. Now it's Soriano coming up. 258, 28 homers. He's driven in 94 with an 810 OPS. Soriano was 0 for 3 in last night's game. He did draw a couple of walks. Lyles has given up the most unearned runs on the Astros staff, 17. So at times he's been victimized by a lack of run support.
Yeah, the basic storyline for him this year is that third time through the order, 5th or 6th inning. Big inning has been his undoing. And he has some critical errors behind him as well. At times he's pitched very well this year. Other times he has struggled, and that's why he's 3-11. I mean, tough for any starting pitcher to win on this club, and that's why it's so remarkable what Lucas Harrell is doing this year.
Yeah, he's overcome lack of run support and lack of fielding support to have that winning record. Grounder goes foul to Pat Listash. Pat lives in this area. Soriano in his career at Minute Maid Park is only a .210 hitter with 11 homers. Here Everything has to be just right for a starting pitcher to win a game, and a lot of those things really are not too controllable by him. Pitches a ball, and it's a 1-ball-1-strike count. He can pitch like crazy and not get run support. That prevents him from a win, or in a tight game maybe an error and things blow up. First pitch strikes. 4 for 4 so far for Lyles. That's up for a ball, and it's 2-1 to Soriano. Soriano's 36 years old. He is primarily a fly ball hitter. He's hit 368 home runs in his career. He's driven in, well, more than 1,000 now. Fouling it back. It's 2-2 to Soriano.
And usually a very aggressive hitter. That's why it was kind of interesting to see him walk twice in the ball game last night. We haven't seen that very much at all.
Good career numbers for the former Yankee and Texas Ranger. Also, he played with Washington, where he was a member of the 40-40 club.
He grew up in the Dominican Republic, started his professional career in Japan. A different trek to the big leagues.
Bouncer goes back to Lyles. He backhands and takes care of out number 3 with no runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left. No score. Sunday starting lineup, and we take a look at the leadoff man, Jimmy Paredes. He's at second base. Fernando Martinez is in left field in this game tonight. It's Brett Wallace at first base. Justin Maxwell, the cleanup man, is the center fielder. Carlos Corporon's batting fifth and catching tonight. It's Matt Dominguez at third base. Brian Bogusevic in right field. Tyler Green at shortstop. Jordan Lyles the pitcher.
And it's journeyman right-hander Justin Germano for the Cubs this evening. He beat the Astros back on August 15th. Since then, it has been a very bumpy road. 4 starts. He's lost them all with an ERA of 11.09. Germano, a 4-pitch pitcher. Fastball, slider, curveball change. Below average velocity in the game against the Astros. He had very good command of his fastball.
That's strike one on the corner to Jimmy Paredes. Good command with that pitch to a 191 hitter with no homers, 3 runs batted in. Paredes 1 for 5 last night, a triple. Bounces this one, and Rizzo knocks it down. It's foul. He was trying to hurry to get to it and make it a fair ball, but he didn't get there while it was fair, and it's 0-2 now. Paredes filling in at second base with the injury to Altuve, and Jed Lowry also is back. There you see Germano and his travels around the majors.
Yeah, he was with Boston earlier this year. Came up with San Diego. Was their minor league pitcher of the year back in 2002. One of those guys has made a lot more starts at AAA than he has in the big leagues.
Good looking pitch there for a strikeout.
A little sink on this 86-mile-an-hour fastball. Maybe a splitter.
That's some late action.
Well, Soriano de Jesus Lajer patrol the outfield for the Cubs tonight. Now Bueno, Castro, Cardenas, and Rizzo on the infield. You see the note on Starlin Castro. He can be spectacular at times, but he's made 23 errors. Steve Clevenger is behind the plate.
Strike to Fernando Martinez, 235. 3 homers, 9 runs batted in, 350 in his last 13 starts. He's been getting consistent at bats. He was 2 for 4 last night. And it's 1-1. And this number 2 spot might be pretty good for him in the lineup. This is his 24th start with the Astros. It's a foul ball. That makes it 1-2. Germano was good in that game, as you mentioned, in Chicago when he beat the Astros 7-2 on the 15th of August. Just 5 hits and 1 walk in his 6 1/3. And in his career now, he's 1-2 against Houston with an 8.62 ERA. So he's had his rough times as well. That's upstairs for ball 2.
Since that start, he's allowed 23 earned runs in 22 2/3 innings.
It's a liner out to right center field, and that will shoot the gap and take 1 hop off the bullpen fence. It's a double for Martinez. Number 6 for him.
The ball out away from him, but up with not a lot on it, and he's able to go out and get it and pull it into the alley in right center. That ball's got some hard sink. That's a meek ground ball, but that pitch was kind of flat and elevated.
Well, he whacked that one for a 2-base hit, and he's aboard for Brett Wallace. 275 for Brett. 7 homers. He's driven in 17. 0 for 4 with a walk last night. That is strike 1. Speaking of walks, well, there were 14 walks in that game last night. That was a 4-1 ball game that took 3 hours and 50 minutes.
That was a slog fest, is what that was.
Slog fest.
If licenses were granted to play Major League Baseball, the licenses of these 2 clubs might have been revoked in that game. That was ugly stuff. I mean, the fielding, there was no errors. That was the interesting thing.
Yeah.
To give the fielders credit for the game that took that long. You would expect them to kick the ball around, but they did not.
Nope. Maintain their focus. Curveball makes it 1-2 to Wallace. Brett is 1 for 12 against Cubs pitching this year. That 1 hit a homer. Wallace is hitting .299 here at Minute Maid Park. Last 3 outings, crooked numbers for Justin Germano. 6 earnings and 4 innings Thursday in Washington in that 9-2 loss. And as a major leaguer, he's won 10 and lost 26 with an ERA of 5.20. Bouncing that one, Wallace picked up the fact that it was not going to be in the zone, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes with Martinez holding at second.
Justin Germano has this going for him, though. He broke Mark McGuire's Claremont Little League record for home runs in a season.
In the Claremont Little League?
Yeah.
How many do you know?
I don't know.
Okay, but still.
Yeah.
That's something. Struck him out looking. Wally a little slow to depart. He wanted to deliver a message to Paul Nauert.
A little backdoor curveball. It didn't quite get to the back door, but stayed on the porch. Close enough for Nauert, though.
Wally didn't want to get on that porch swing and go after it, and he did stay and let Mr. Nauert know He had a mild disagreement with that call. Justin Maxwell, 236, 14 homers, 42 runs batted in, is 5 for 13 in his last 4. J-Max 2 for 4 last night. There's strike 1 to him. Chris Volstad started and won last night for the Cubs. He went 5 innings and gave up 1 run, and 6 relievers followed him. 5 relievers followed him, rather. That's no balls, 2 strikes. Corcoran on deck.
Justin Germano pitched a perfect game last year at AAA for the Columbus Clippers. That's something.
It really is. And it was on the road at Syracuse.
That's always a hostile environment for a visiting Clipper. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about that ballpark.
Actually, I haven't played in that. That's a new ballpark from my days in the International League.
Okay. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Phillies, who are coming here for a 4-game series starting Thursday night, are leading Miami 4-2 after 4. They're contenders, you know, JD.
Yeah, they are. And, you know, a month or 2 ago, I said, keep an eye on the Phillies. They got a shot. I mean, it's still a long shot. But they're in the conversation.
You did say that. I remember that.
Yeah, I want credit for that. That's why I brought that up again. And I'm not beyond begging for validation.
We're going to put that in the book of credits for 2012 that you have accumulated. You know, you're going to get some extra time off or whatever you want because of all these credits you built up.
You know, it's as if I won the games for the Phillies. Just by virtue of because I said don't give up on them.
You declared it, and it became so. Roy Halladay's pitching tonight for the Phillies, and that kind of helps with your declaration when they have a rotation like what they have.
And we'll get Halladay here. One of those starts over the weekend.
That's ball 3, and it's a full count. Well, the Phillies can get to 500 with a win tonight. They would be 71-71. They won 5 in a row, and there's the wild card, and there they are. They're right in it, JD.
But Milwaukee and Philadelphia have not been on our wild card graphic all year until tonight. Welcome aboard, fellas.
Big night to make the graphic.
Yep.
That's a walk, and J-Max is aboard for Carlos Corcoran. Hey, you know, it's always meaningful when you can make that graphic.
They are graphic worthy. You know, they hadn't been. We got calls from them. A lot of their PR people would call and say, "Hey, how come we're not on your wild card graphic?" And we say, "Yeah, we don't believe in you yet," and we just put them on tonight. I feel like they're justified. And Brewers with an early 1-0 lead over Atlanta, but that's just in the first. In Milwaukee.
Carlos Corcoran with those good numbers, 288 average, 3 homers, 9 runs batted in, has a 475 slugging percentage. There's strike 1.
Germano's actually been better against left-handed hitters than righties. Left-handed batters hitting 246 against him with 1 home run. Righties 321 with 4.
Corcoran had 2 hits on Sunday at Cincinnati.
Those reverse splits you see a lot with finesse type pitchers, guys with good change ups or a trick pitch.
Bat splinters, the ball rolls foul, and Corp heads for the bench with an 0-2 count. There's that shard that came off.
Got to stay back. A lot of soft stuff from Germano. Catch him way out on the end of the bat.
Now he's down 0-2. Corcoran not only got the 2 hits Sunday, but he caught a 5-1 win at Cincinnati. A very big one for the Astros, giving them their first road series win against the National League club. It's 1-2. Now they're trying to get moving on this homestand after losing last night. Corcoran just was recalled last Tuesday from Oklahoma City, where he hit 286, had 6 homers, 31 runs batted in 68 games there. And that's a strikeout for Germano, who got 3 in the first inning. It's no runs a hit, 2 men left, and no score after 1.
Part of the Astros 50th anniversary celebration presented by the Methodist Hospital System, we would like to invite you to the Legends Luncheon on Saturday, September 22nd. Enjoy lunch and a 50th anniversary program with your favorite Astros alumni, including members of the all-time 25-man roster. Get your tickets now at astros.com. I'm thinking that guy right there might be there, Bill.
Well, he will be there, and in fact, good to see you, Patty. But he was around the batting cage tonight, and Mark Berman, Channel 26, did an interview with him about making that special all-time Astros roster. And the other media folks came along to chat. There is strike 1 for Jordan Lyles against Castro. Castro's put together an 8-game hitting streak, 282 for Starlin, 12 homers, 71 runs batted in, and he is 6th in the league in hits with 159. 1 ball, 1 strike. Bidge agreed with you, and JD, I will go ahead and proclaim that I'm one of the voters, but Brad Lidge should be on that team, and he's not. So we blew it.
That's all right.
Actually, I think I voted for Brad, but you know there were 12 people who voted.
Well, you can feel free to throw the others under the bus. I would like to see these votes made public. I want to put all you guys in a room like 12 angry men.
Well,
like Henry Fonda.
You know, we voted probably back in March or something, so who can remember? But I think I voted for Brad. That's out number 1 on the pop-up to Wallace. And it's those teams are so tough to vote for. Steve Clevenger, the batter, 214. 1 homer, 16 runs batted in. So we're voting for the best players in 50 years of history on this club, right? Some good players going to get left off. But of course we have all kinds of starting pitchers and not too many relief pitchers.
Yeah, I think it might have been easier for you guys had you been given a criteria. Players had to play at least 5 years for the Astros or something like that.
We did have that criteria.
Well, what was it?
Well, wait a minute. That's not right because Roger Clemens is on there. So I guess we didn't have that criteria. At least some of us thought that was our criteria, but it wasn't for the whole group, right?
Maybe Rocket was that. Maybe it was a special Rocket category.
That could have been. That's a walk to Clevenger with 1 out. And it's Brian LaHare. Rocket, of course, in the news. Larry Durker, Joe Niekro, Nolan Ryan, Roy Oswald, Mike Scott. And then we have a lot more starting pitchers. JR, Shane, Mike Hampton, Roger Clemens, Don Wilson. And just 2 relievers, Dave Smith and Billy Wagner. So we're heavily stacked with starters. And it kind of depends on what your concept is. You're trying to get the 25 best guys. That should be the concept. and it's difficult to determine who 25 best players are. LaHare fouls it.
You should have gotten with Sig and got his computer thing going, and you could have done like a war, you know, wins above replacement. And,
we did. We looked at that. That was one factor, but then we'd have to be able to comprehend what that means, and that's another one. But yeah, you know, you could look at any category you wanted to.
Did anybody try to bribe you?
No. One ball, one strike. I'm not sure how that even goes down with the players. I mean, certainly it's an honor for them to be on that team. 2 balls and a strike, but I think players probably are most honored when they're voted in by their peers, right, JD?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I doubt that the guys on this team are really thought all that much about it, to tell you the truth.
Probably didn't even give it a thought. Probably didn't even know it was happening.
Yeah, there's probably a good chance they weren't aware of it at all, but still a nice honor.
Well, it is, and they'll all be together, or at least they're invited to come to that luncheon on the 22nd at 11 o'clock at Union Station. And the public can purchase tickets and be a part of that. Proceeds going to charity. Astros in Action Foundation benefits from that luncheon on the 22nd. Nolan Ryan will be here. We know that. That's a liner out to right field. In for a hit. Picked up by Bogusevic. And he throws into the cutoff man. LaHare with a single. Clevenger to second with 1 out. Cardenas comes up next.
Breaking ball, it just didn't have a lot of bite, stayed up in the zone a little bit, and LaHare able to exploit that. And solid single to right.
Now the Cubs have something working, and Cardenas is the batter.
Pitcher Germano's on deck, but remember, he broke Mark McGuire's record for home runs at the Claremont Little League in San Diego.
Okay. Well, that's always a factor. I'm sure that came up in their scouting report.
Probably was, yeah.
Adrian Cardenas, 24 years old, from Miami Lakes, Florida. Played at AAA Sacramento last year. Cardenas takes ball 1. Darwin Barney getting the night off. Barney has a tremendous consecutive game errorless streak, now up to 126. That's the National League record. Cardenas was a first-round pick of the Phillies in '06. Takes that pitch for ball 2. Adrian had a 2-hit game against the Astros back in May. Doug Brocail's coming out. You spot anything with that delivery?
I just spotted Brocail out of the corner of my eye, flying out of the dugout. I don't think he cared for the pitch selection there in this sequence.
Okay.
Maybe a message of, hey, don't give up on your heater.
You don't think he was reminding him that the guy who hit more homers in Claremont Little League, Mark McGuire's on deck?
He may have brought that out there with him too.
Adrian Cardenas' first 5 hits of this season were all doubles. That's kind of weird. There's a strike. Good movement there for Jordan, and it's 2-1. These two teams will wrap up the season at Wrigley Field against each other.
That's good try there, but then obviously that was the message from Brocail. Hey, nothing wrong with a good fastball down around the knees towards the outside corner. He painted with 1. Second one was on the plate, maybe just a little bit low.
Now 3-1 to Cardenas. He takes a walk, and the bases are loaded with 1 out for Germano.
Time looked like Jordan was trying to get a little something extra on that 3-1 fastball and just fell off of it a little bit. Had it run well off the plate.
Germano has 1 hit in 12 at bats. despite those little league credentials.
He's sneaky. Don't let him sneak up on you.
That is ball one. Baltimore leads Tampa Bay 3-1. They've played 4 in Baltimore. Ryan Roberts hit his 10th home run for the Rays. J.J. Hardy number 20 for the Birds. That's in for a strike and it evens the count at 1-1. It's quite a race in the AL East. Yankees 1 in front of Baltimore, 2 in front of Tampa Bay. Beautiful race. Could be a 3-way tie. That would be crazy.
Yeah, and so while the wild card certainly adds drama on one level and brings more teams into the mix, think about the pennant race they would be having in the American League East if there were no wild card.
Yeah.
If it was do or die for the Yankees in Baltimore. Oh well.
In tight for a ball.
As many people have said, it is what it is.
Tomorrow the schedules are going to be released for next year, JD.
Well, excited about that.
Yep. I know a few things, but cannot spill anything to you now. Big 3-1 pitch is coming. That's a strike and it's a full count. And Justin Germano. We'll find out tomorrow.
I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Check swing roller. Here's Wallace coming to the plate and he gets a force play. Ball was hit slowly and he had to move over toward the mound and reach down and backhand it, then get the throw on to force Clevenger, and he did it well from 3-2.
And nice play there by Wally. Unfortunately for Lyles, this little half swing produces a soft ground ball that couldn't be converted into a double play. There was no other real option for Wallace than to go home, although I don't know if he could have been able to get that ball to second base in time to start a 3-6-1 double play. That would have been a tough one to pull off, and with that runner coming home, you're probably better off nailing that man at home.
David DeJesus opened the game with a fly ball to center field. Good stop by Corcoran on a low pitch for ball one. DeJesus is third in the National League with a .364 on base percentage out of the leadoff spot.
He's been a pretty good contact guy, able to work a walk, spray line drives around the field. A big day against the Astros at Wrigley. He hit 2 home runs in one game. He hit at least one.
Yeah. It's 2 balls, no strikes right now, and control is wobbly here for Jordan. He hit a couple back on the 15th of August off Bud Norris, both of them off Bud. Good pitch. 2-1. Jordan is living on the edge with his control this inning. If he can get to DeJesus, everything is good. He's walked 2 in the inning. He fell behind Germano 3-1, but then got him. This one in the air to center field, backs up Maxwell. Maxwell still going back, turning for the catch. And Lyles is out of second inning trouble with no runs ahead. 3 men left, no score.
bottom of the second, and this season MLB on Fox is proud to support Boys and Girls Club of America, a place where youth can reach their full potential as productive, caring, responsible citizens. To learn more, please visit greatfutures.org/Fox Sports. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. That youngster really engrossed in watching this game. Nothing so far, but he saw Jordan Lyles get out of bases loaded trouble by getting to Jesus on the fly ball to center field. And now the Astros get set to bat in the home second inning. Dominguez, Bogusevic, and Green coming up against Justin Germano. Justin gave up a one-out double to Fernando Martinez in the first, and then he walked Justin Maxwell. Matt Dominguez has been one of the hot hands for the Astros. Had a big weekend in Cincinnati with homers Friday night to win the game off Aroldis Chapman, and then Sunday off Johnny Cueto. And now as he comes up in the second inning here, he's hitting .326. He has 3 homers, 7 runs batted in. Matt was 0 for 3 with a walk in last night's game. That snapped a 5-game hitting streak. There's ball 1 to him. Aroldis Chapman is causing some concern in Cincinnati now with his lack of effectiveness. Velocity down. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, they've got a comfortable lead in the division, so they can shut him down for a few days and let him rest up, and hopefully that'll take care of it.
That's a strike. That makes it 1-2 now. Tonight the Reds lead the Pirates 4-1 after 5 in Cincinnati with Mike Leake pitching against Kevin Correa. Brandon Phillips hit his 17th homer. Alex Presley number 9. Tap foul. It's a 1-2. There's a dust up last night with Brandon Phillips getting into it with Jared Hughes after Hughes hit him with a pitch. And apparently they talked before the game tonight. That was a difficult loss for the Buccos. They're now 4 games above 500, 72-68.
Yeah, still right there in the wild card, just 2.5 games off the pace, because Cardinals aren't playing particularly well right now either.
They got thumped at San Diego last night. Now they've lost Lance Berkman for the rest of the year. Lance having knee surgery in Houston. Foul back.
That is a loss, but it's also not that significant in that they basically played all year without Lance.
Right.
Obviously, they would have loved to have had the 2011 Lance Berkman back in the lineup regularly this year. It just didn't happen for the big guy, and having another surgery and done for the year, and perhaps he'll take it to the house.
Curveball, strike 3 call. That's 4 strikeouts for Germano.
And the last 3 all coming on breaking balls. Wallace and Dominguez looking. Corcoran swung through one. Not a big strikeout pitcher. Had 26 in 44 innings coming into play tonight.
Bogusevic, a Chicago area product, at 208, has 6 homers, 26 runs batted in. Ryan was 0 for 1 pinch hitting last night. And he looks at ball 1 upstairs with Tyler Green on deck. It's a 1 ball 1 strike count. Germano is 0-3 on the road with an 8.47 ERA in 4 games. It's 2-1. Seattle leads Toronto 4-2 after 5 in Toronto. Kyle Seager hit his 18th for Seattle. Foul ball makes it 2-2. Boston 2, the Yankees 1. They're in the bottom of the 5th at Fenway. Hiroki Kuroda is pitching for New York.
You know, if Lance Berkman's career is over, it has been one heck of a ride. And had he played in New York, people would be saying this guy's a slam dunk Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Bogusevic strikes out.
Oh my goodness. Justin Germano has turned into Ferguson Jenkins here tonight in a Cub uniform.
Yeah. He's doing the Kerry Wood thing tonight.
But instead of overpowering the Astro hitters, he's just fooling them with breaking balls.
Sure is.
Time to make an adjustment.
Tyler Green is coming up. Kerry Wood struck out 20 Astros in that game in '98. 229 for Tyler, 10 homers, 27 runs batted in. And he's done well in a Houston uniform. He's done well at Minute Maid. Fouls that one for strike one. At Minute Maid Park, Tyler has hit .309, 17 hits and 55 at bats, 5 doubles, 6 homers, 10 runs batted in 18 games here at this ballpark this season. There's John Lester pitching tonight for Boston against the Yankees and Corota. It's 1-1. Jordan Lyles on deck. So yeah, we'll get that schedule for next year. It'll be released tomorrow. One hopper to Valbuena. And it's a 1-2-3 second inning for Germano. He has struck out 5 in the first 2. And there's no score. And commemorate the efforts of those first responders. Think back to 9/11 in commemoration of those who lost their lives. And ceremonies today took place at Pennsylvania and the Pentagon and Ground Zero. Flags unfurled. A flag from atop one of the buildings in New York City. Special day across America as our world was changed forever 11 years ago on this date. No score, and there is strike one to Valbuena. Valbuena reached on an error in the first inning, that error by Jimmy Paredes. So Valbuena was on first but never did advance. Yeah, we were in Houston 9/11 in 2001. That was the year of the Barry Bonds home run chase. The Giants were here to start a series that wound up being moved back, and the games were not played for about a week. Thinking back to World War I and World War II, games were not played. Jimmy Paredes in. Good play. And baseball games are rarely postponed or moved to another time for events other than those, except for weather. Now it's Rizzo coming up. Rizzo lined out to left field in the first inning. Bounced, and Paredes will backhand this one. Set up and fire high, and oh, there's a collision at first. Wallace is down, and Rizzo is really hurting. He is not moving. Dave McKay, the first base coach, with him. And the Cubs are getting some athletic trainers in that area very quickly. Rizzo slowly moving after colliding with Brett Wallace on the very high throw by Paredes.
Kind of a bizarre play. All eyes now on Anthony Rizzo. Hopefully he's okay. And it was Rizzo's hustle that really changed the nature of that play. Paredes got over there in good shape, but as he looked up, he saw that Rizzo was busting it down the line with a little more speed than perhaps he anticipated. So he has to all of a sudden hurry his throw. He airmails it. Wallace goes airborne, and you'll see the collision here.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
man, just a hard fall.
Wallace's foot may have hit him up around the head or shoulders.
Catches him, and he just gets all cattywampus, and he just goes down so hard after losing his balance here. Watch how hard he hits.
Oh, man. Went flying through the air and landed very hard. And Paredes distressed at his second error of this game.
Hopefully, maybe just a case of having the wind knocked out of him. And little cobwebs that he's got to clear. But, you know, they're not looking at legs. They're not looking at shoulders or anything like that. So that's good news. Just a hard hit. And yeah, he's a little lightheaded. And I guess he is limping a little bit.
And he's being supported as he walks off the field because those legs might be jelly-like right now. 23-year-old Anthony Rizzo of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. He took quite a spill.
He's selling out, busting it down the line, and just does not have time to get his hands underneath him to brace himself for that fall.
They'll get him off the field and pitch run for him. And the Cubs will have a runner at first with one out. Well, Paredes set up for that throw, and then he might have seen that he was taking too much time, and he fired it, but he flung it way high on Wallace. Brett did what he could. He went way up, and then that created the collision at first. And we're waiting now for a pinch runner to take over at first base for Rizzo. Joe Mather. He goes to second base because the overthrow of the ball went out of play. So it's a two-base error by Paredes. And Mather, the runner at second base with one out for Soriano now. Soriano grounded back to the pitcher. Mather started last night in center field. There's ball one.
After taking a very aggressive secondary lead out there. Better make sure he gets him to stop before he comes home with the pitch.
Mather has 4 steals in 6 attempts. He might be thinking about stealing third. Looks like he's just trying to get as big a lead as he can in case contact is made here on the ground for Soriano. And it's 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, he tightened it up before that second pitch. First pitch, he was way off. Paredes is keeping an eye on him. So is Corporon.
Pick off, and oh, they almost got him. Yeah, it's because of that huge lead that they felt the need to do that, and that sends a message to Mather. Pitch was ball 3 though to Soriano. Soriano hacking, and he did not choose a 3-0 pitch right over the plate. It was a pitch that ran in on his hands.
He was an early decider there. 3-0, he was hacking. I went to bed last night with visions of the Crawford boxes dancing in his brain.
Very well might have.
The Astros are leaving the league. I don't know how many cracks I'm going to get at this ballpark going forward.
This is the 5th 3-ball count for Jordan Lyles already. He's thrown 57 pitches.
Showed you those numbers on Soriano earlier. Has not hit for a high average in this ballpark, but his home run numbers here are good. Most right-handed hitters, pull hitters like Soriano are aiming for those seats.
Some of these NL Central teams will be coming to Houston next year in interleague play. Struck him out after falling behind 3-0. Nice turn of events for Lyles. That's his first strikeout.
Swung at a 3-0 fastball that was off the plate. Now swings at this 3-2 breaking ball that was way up. You see Corcoran coming up out of his crouch to catch this one.
Eight pitches, 29 of each for Jordan. He has struggled with his command in this game. Castro fouled out to first in the second inning. Yankees have scored twice in the top of the sixth at Boston. They're still batting with a 3-2 lead. Jeter drove in a couple with a double. And he's in the MVP conversation for some in the American League.
Sure, going to get a handful of seeds after taking that fastball for strike one that he felt was off the plate inside, and for good reason.
The Mets and R.A. Dickey lead Washington. Nope, they're now behind 3-2. Top of the seventh. Washington has scored twice. A fake towards second by the catcher Corcoran. Again, advertising to Mather that they're well aware that he's taken a huge lead. Trey Moore hit his 9th home run for Washington. As R.A. Dickey shoots for a Cy Young award. He's fallen behind. Foul back.
He's got to win to keep pace with Gio Gonzalez, who won his 19th game last night for the Nationals.
Gio 19-7 leads the majors. R.A. Dickey 18-4. ERA is lower than Gio. Johnny Cueto 17-8. Greg Kimbrell has 35 saves and a 1.18 ERA. In tight for a ball to Castro. 2-2. Castro signed the 7-year contract extension. We were asking Pat Listash, third base coach, about him. He said he is a good young player, receptive to coaching. They think he'll get better. He said he's 22. He's got 500 major league hits. I was an A-ball when I was 22. Struck him out looking. No runs, no hits, an error, and a man left. Lyles has pitched around 2 errors in the game to keep it scoreless.
Center making cancer history. It was on September 11th, 1967. The Jimmy Wynn hit home run number 37. The Astros used 8 pitchers in a 9-inning game, downing the Cubs 11-10. Dave Eilers got the victory. By the way, also on this date in 1902, something was done for the first time. John Malarkey of Boston hit a home run at the bottom of the 11th, becoming the first pitcher in baseball history that hit a walk-off home run to win his own game. That was over St. Louis. And that's no malarkey.
That was the origins of that term. Because of that. Somebody said, what a bunch of malarkey. Gave up a home run to the opposing pitcher.
A lot of malarkey. No score as Jordan Lyles takes strike one. Home third inning underway. Lyles has 5 hits in 32 at bats, a 156 average, and he's driven in 3.
Today is also the anniversary of the first professional game played by women. Would you care to hazard a guess as to what year that was?
I think it was during the 1940s. Well, first professional game, I don't know. I was thinking of that
All-American League. Yeah, that's the one that would come to mind. But actually, according to the Baseball Almanac, in 1875, there was a game played by women professionals in Springfield, Illinois.
Okay.
The diamond was half the size of the regulation field, and a 9-foot-high canvas was draped all the way around the fence so people couldn't see.
Really?
Yeah.
Brian LaHare's moved from right field to first base with the injury to Rizzo, and Joe Mathers, the right fielder.
Must have been considered unseemly for the gals to be out playing back in the day.
Paredes into center field, loops it in for a hit in front of De Jesus, and Jimmy gets hit number 2 for the Astros tonight.
Been a busy night for Paredes. A lot of action in the field, and now a 1-out single. He's a threat to run. He was leading the Pacific Coast League in stolen bases when he was called up. 37 steals, 10 times he was caught down there.
Fernando Martinez, who doubled to right center field, comes around for the second time. Fred Wallace on deck. Little roller goes up the line, and it's touched in fair territory. Clevenger throws it over the first baseman. Here's a throw to third, not in time. Clevenger on that slow roller went halfway up the line, and then he was very close, but flipped it over the head of the first sacker, LaHare, and that gave Paredes a chance to go first to third.
We talked about last night's game, the fact that there were no errors. This is the third error of this ball game. Clevenger having a difficult time getting that ball out of his mitt, and then trying to push that ball over the top of Martinez, trying to drop it in there to LaHare. Could not do it. Cardenas with a heads-up play backing up, but to no avail.
Well, the Cubs make their first error of the night. The Astros with a couple. Clevenger charged with his 4th error of the season. And it's Fred Wallace with runners at first and third and 1 out. Wallace struck out looking in the first inning, and that was on a curveball. And the infield shifts around, playing him to pull. He looks at ball 1. Justin Maxwell's on deck. Jordan Lyles has pitched around 2 errors. Now Germano tries to work around one. And he falls behind 2-0.
Normally you would think, well, it's a tough assignment for Germano, not a power pitcher, but he's punched out 6 already here tonight.
Last year he had just 9 games with Cleveland. 16 at Columbus. Now it's 3-0 to Wallace.
Green light him.
Germano has come up against Roy Oswalt twice, once in 07, once in 08. He was with San Diego both those years. Now a walk will load the bases for Justin Maxwell. Second walk for Germano. Maxwell drew the first walk. That was back in the first inning on a 3-2 pitch.
A big pitch coming right here, right at the start of this at bat. Pitching very gingerly to Wallace. He walks him to load the bases. Knows he has no room for Maxwell. So how aggressive is he willing to be with this first pitch in an attempt to get ahead? And if he throws a cookie in there, J-Max will be looking to unload.
Grounds out when foul. Kind of jumped at it a little bit.
Very anxious to get over curveball there, and Maxwell couldn't stay back.
Germano made his Cubs debut in relief after Matt Garza left with a cramp in his triceps July 21st, and he then won his first Cubs start July 30th against Pittsburgh. Corcoran's on deck.
Maxwell currently tied with Jed Lowry for the club lead in home runs with 14.
Jed's back. They could have a duel here in these final 3 weeks of the season. No balls, 2 strikes. Paredes, Martinez, and Wallace are the base runners. The Astros have a low team batting average with the bases loaded, 134. But Maxwell has a 444 career bases loaded average with 3 grand slams.
I believe his first major league hit was a pinch hit grand slam.
You are correct. He's not chasing, and it's ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 50 pitches for Germano, 31 strikes. But the ratio's moving the other way in this inning. With the 4-pitch walk to Wallace. Now he's trying to regroup here. And Clevenger will come out. Texas leads Cleveland 4-0 after a 4-run second inning. They're now in the bottom of the 4th. White Sox are in front of Detroit 2-0 after 3 in Chicago. Beckham and Wise have gone deep, and Peavy's on the mound. White Sox trying to create some separation between first and second place. They lead Detroit by 3 games, and the Tigers have lost 4 in a row now. Ricky Weeks' 18th homer provided Milwaukee with that first inning run, and it's 1-0 over Atlanta after 4. Fly ball out to right center. Mather underneath it. Here's the catch and the throw in toward third base as run number 1 comes home. Maxwell with a sac fly. 43rd run batted in, scoring Paredes. 1-0 Houston. Good job with 2 strikes in the count.
Yeah, not a bad pitch either. Breaking ball off the outside edge and down, and he just goes down and gets it, stays through the ball. And it pays off. Astros on the board. That run unearned.
Carlos Corcoran struck out with 2 men on in the first, and now once again he has 2 runners on base. Strike 1. Estrada's pitching well for Milwaukee tonight against Tim Hudson. No balls, 2 strikes. And that Milwaukee club, and now Ryan Braun has heated it up again. Would love to put a late run together just as the Phillies would, and they are both showing signs of resurgence in the wild card race. Milwaukee, like Philadelphia, a game below 500 at 70-71.
It's interesting how both those clubs made trades at the trade deadline basically saying this isn't going to be our year, and now they find themselves back in the hunt.
Whoops. Maybe it is after all. That is ball 2, and it's 2 balls, 2 strikes with Matt Dominguez on deck.
And that's why, and we talk about it every year at the trade deadline, it's getting even more difficult now with the extra clubs added to the wild card picture to be a general manager in the big leagues, to know when to pull the trigger, when do you have a legitimate chance of hanging in the race, or when is it time to back up the truck and start thinking about rebuilding.
Very much so. Oh, he chased it and struck out, and in the 3rd inning the Astros break the scoring ice with a run on 1 hit with an error and 2 men left. It's 1-0 Houston.
be sure to root for these Astros on Friday, September 14th, as they take on the Phillies during Flashback Friday presented by the Methodist Hospital System. Jeff Kent will be on hand to sign autographs and throw out the ceremonial first pitch, and fans can enjoy the postgame Friday night fireworks presented by Marathon Oil Company. Root now and buy tickets and autograph vouchers at astros.com/flashback. Bill?
Thank you, Patty. There's a curveball, and Clevenger swings at it. It's strike one as the fourth inning gets underway for Jordan Lyles. Clevenger drew a walk in the second inning. He was thrown out at the plate on a good play by Brett Wallace to Carlos Corporon on a force. The base is loaded. It's 1-1. And the Astros were able to get their run home in a bases loaded situation as Justin Maxwell hit a fly ball. 2 balls and a strike. Jeff Kent was on the Survivor, I heard. JD, have you heard anything more about that?
Just that he's back now, obviously.
Okay.
But you know how he did on that is it's top secret.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, they can't tell you because it hasn't aired yet.
Oh, what Survivor is that? Survivor New Guinea or Survivor Moon or
wherever I don't know, wherever this season's Survivor is.
They're kind of running out of countries, aren't they? 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Survivor Manhattan. They put JK in the middle of the city with his camos on. And
that's a show in itself.
It's the Philippines, guys.
Oh,
Survivor Philippines.
Really?
Yes, and you know who else he's on the show with?
Barry Bonds.
Lisa Welchel. The Facts of Life. Remember Blair?
Yeah.
Yep, she's on it.
Well, that's an interesting grouping of folks they've put together there.
So this is a celebrity Survivor.
I don't know. I think those are like the 2 celebrities, and then they have some other various students and just various other people. I think they're the 2 celebrities. You know, maybe Tootie and George Clooney.
All right. Well, I'm glad you told us because, probably that pairing of people, Jeff Kent and Lisa Welchel, you'd only get them together on an island in the Philippines. And there is a strike one to Leher. Leher singled to right field in the second inning.
I wonder what the Q rating was for those guys in the Philippines. Who would be more popular, more recognizable, the major league player or Blair from the Facts of Life?
Couldn't tell you. Not a good looking swing there by Leher.
My roommate in college was from the Philippines. He had a lot of money, so he sponsored all our intramural teams. We were the Manila Nationals. He was our owner. He was our George Steinbrenner.
I thought you were going to say you were the Manila Folders.
Well, there are many times he accused us of that.
Struck him out. That's number 4.
And that's 4 in a row.
Yes. Got the strikeout pitch going, JD.
Speaking of Survivor, that's the nature of this game sometimes. Survive until you kind of find it. And apparently he has found that curveball much sharper than some of the ones he threw earlier that were just kind of rolling up there. That had a lot of good bite.
Cardenas the batter, and there's strike one to him. He drew a walk earlier. Now that last start, there was a rain delay in Pittsburgh, and Jordan Lyles was all set to warm up, and then he had to shut it down. 1 ball, 1 strike. Good numbers tonight as he's fought through some control difficulties. Dominguez gets it over to Wallace. That's a 1-2-3-4. Now he looks really good, and he has a 1-0 lead.
Brought to you by Jack in the Box. Get the All-American Jack Combo for only $4.99 plus tax at participating stores. By the all-new Mazda CX-5 with 35 highway miles per gallon. And by Mattress Firm. Save money, sleep happy. You take a look at Craig Biggio with Jeff Kent, who moved him to center field for a couple of years. This guy needs to be moved to a home.
Bartman.
Meanwhile,
Steve Bartman.
I got to tell you, he could be in disguise, yes. If you go to @Ben Mahler, he's a Twitter address. He's with Fox Sports Radio. He has the story of Jeff Kent from the San Francisco newspaper. In fact, they have a full cast photo.
No.
You can look it up. The whole cast was involved for 39 weeks, but he is mum on how he did, as they must be.
So maybe that should be our mission this weekend, is to
see
break
if you
him
can
down
figure it out.
and,
Yeah.
read his body language.
Yeah, body language and affability.
Yeah.
Okay, we pry the information out of him then Friday night when he's on. Strike one to Dominguez. 1-0 Astros as Justin Germano has surrendered an unearned run in the third inning. Dominguez takes that off the plate for a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Germano staying away from Dominguez here, working that outside edge. Go ahead and try to ride that fastball to right center. Pull off it and hit it off the end of the bat.
2-2. The Tri-City Valley Cats advance to the New York Penn League Finals. They beat Auburn last night at home 16-7. They host game one of the 3-game championship series tonight against Hudson Valley.
Auburn for years and years was the Astros affiliate in the New York Penn League.
Right.
Darn tootin'.
Rolled out to shortstop. Castro throws and gets Dominguez. Have you ever been to that Auburn ballpark, JD?
I know my New York Penn League trivia.
Okay.
I played in that league. I went to the Auburn State Correctional Facility.
You
with
did?
the Oneonta Yankees. We toured it, yeah.
Okay.
We had John Elway with us. It was pretty exciting. They thought we were a group of kids, like a Scared Straight program. There's some athletes in there, boy. Let me tell you, there were some guys playing hoops and running and lifting weights. Whoop.
Ryan Bogusevic struck out in the second inning. It's rolled up the line foul. Jed Lowry just returned today from the California League series. The Lancaster Jethawks beat High Desert at home last night, and they won it 10-5. They took a 2-1 lead in the best-of-5 series. Delino DeShields went 2 for 5, 2 doubles and an RBI. Game 4 is tonight at Lancaster. Second baseman is there. Cardenas over to first. 2 outs. There you have the score tonight. Game 1 is in the bottom of the 10th inning. Hudson Valley and Tri-City tied at 4. High Desert and Lancaster start later. Lancaster trying to wrap it up with a win at home tonight. And Jed Lowry just back. He was 0 for 4 last night, but his team won 10-5. He got in his work and is now back from the disabled list. He's been out since July 15th with an injured nerve in his right leg. Tyler Green was strike one. So he's alongside Jason Castro there, and he might get a start tomorrow night.
Good. Good to have him back in the lineup.
In fact, it could be, well, you know, Tyler Green's been playing a lot, so maybe he would be rested tomorrow night. We don't know that. Could be Lowry at short and Altuve at second as they return to their double play combo status from earlier this year. 2-1. Phillies now have built an 8-3 lead after 6 over Miami. Roy Halladay on the mound. Giancarlo Stanton hit his 34th homer for Miami, and Jimmy Rollins number 18 for the Phillies. That's to center field. De Jesus to the warning track for out number 3, and after 4, it's 1-0 Houston.
What do you drive? Series finale between these two teams tomorrow, and it's going to be a battle of left-handers. And for the Astros, that means Fernando Abad, the reliever turned starter, goes back out to the mound. Abad is 0-3 with a 5.30 ERA, coming off of a loss in Pittsburgh, in which he allowed 5 runs, 4 of those earned on 6 hits and 4 innings. He'll face Travis Wood. The lefty is 5.11 with a 4.42 ERA. That's your Mazda game break. Brownie, back to you.
Thanks, Bart. Justin Germano leading it off here. The Astros lead at 1-0. Germano just took ball 1 from Jordan Lyles in the 5th. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Germano grounded into a force play at the plate with the bases loaded in the 2nd inning, as Lyles had 1 out, and then he retired De Jesus after that to get out of bases loaded trouble. It's a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Now, though, Jordan has really looked good the last couple of innings. Struck out 4 of the last 5. Two and 2. Looks quickly, and that one's hit. Tyler Green knocks it down. Can't get a handle on it. Germano reaches.
Ball well struck by Germano on a high fastball, but a play that Tyler Green will tell you he should have made. Got leather on it with the pitcher going down the line. He was in position to get him if he had been able to corral it. I don't know. Second look, that was a tougher play than I probably first evaluated.
It's ruled an error on Green, his 10th. Now De Jesus, who's flied twice to center field, comes around for the 3rd time and shoots one on a line. Maxwell will play it on 1 bounce. A single to center field for De Jesus.
Here we go. 3rd time around has been the problem for Jordan Lyles. Well documented. We talk about it every start, but the numbers are glaring. Opposing teams hitting .405 off of Jordan the 3rd time they see him in a ball game.
The inning started with an error. Now a line single by De Jesus. Valbuena coming up next. So 3 errors in the game for the Astros.
Remember, their most dangerous hitter, Anthony Rizzo, had to leave the game after that play at first base. That's a big break for Lyles.
.405 batting average, the 3rd time through the order against Jordan Lyles. That means right-handed hitting Joe Mathers on deck instead of the lefty hitting Rizzo. Wallace and Dominguez are pinching in tight at the corner infield spots. That makes it 1-1 to Valbuena. Pat Listache going through signs. Pat was saying that the Cubs really don't have a steal sign. Dave McKay is the first base coach, and he will talk to the base runner about stealing. They have all the times, of course, on the pitchers and catchers.
Yeah, you hear that from a lot of teams, that they have certain guys that are on their own, and they'll give them a don't steal, or they'll just let them go. If they feel like they can get a jump, they'll let them go. The downside of that is the hitter doesn't know whether he's going or not. Sometimes you'd prefer your hitter just take a pitch if a guy's trying to steal a base.
2-2. 85 pitches for Lyles. St. Louis is at San Diego later tonight. Wainwright versus Volquez. Now a full count to Valbuena. Jordan's had a lot of those tonight.
Sometimes as a pitcher, you just have to realize you're at the mercy of the situation, and you have to give in a little bit. I'm not talking four-seamer right down the middle, but whatever you're most confident in that you can throw a strike right here, you can't afford to walk Valbuena.
This is his 6th full count of the night. In the air, and Justin Maxwell goes back to left center field and makes the catch at the warning track. That's one big out.
You just have to realize who you're up against. A guy like Valbuena, he doesn't have a lot of power, so you have to be willing to challenge him in that situation.
And Joe Mather will be next. Mather last night, as the leadoff man and center fielder, had 2 hits and 5 at bats. .215 for Joe, 4 homers. He's driven in 17. Came up through the Cardinals system, then Braves claimed him on waivers. That's strike one. Good pitch for Lyles. Get ahead of this hitter. Xavier Cedeno's warming up for Houston. Jose Valdez putting the jacket on. And Ariel Del Rosario joined the Astros last night. His contract was purchased, and he's in the bullpen. And to make room for him on the 40-man roster, the Astros released Francisco Cordero. Oakland and the Angels start later tonight in Anaheim. The appeal went to first base. He didn't go, and we didn't see any indication of anything. Dana DeMuth.
Dana basically, by not signaling anything, says, "Come on, Carlos, don't be asking me on that."
That was the body language. Carlos pointed down there, and Dana didn't flinch.
Carlos asked, but Paul Nauert, the home plate umpire, didn't.
Yeah. That's a good pitch. And it's 1-2 as Mather takes it. Dodgers in Arizona about to get underway with Ian Kennedy pitching against Clayton Kershaw in Arizona. Kershaw was scratched from his last start with a hip problem. And that was against the Giants a couple of nights ago. Outside ball 2.
Mather, long and strong, runs well. He's kind of a poor man's Jason Worth. Just hasn't been able to put it together at the big league level. He's hit for home runs in the minor leagues and has shown some power at the big league level, but just not enough consistently to become an everyday player.
Swing and a miss, and Lyles strikes him out. 2 outs. That's his 5th strikeout. Soriano comes up. 94 runs batted in, 4th in the National League, 0 for 2 tonight.
2/3 of the way out of this jam, but the most dangerous man in the Cub lineup in the batter's box now, so you can't let your concentration slip away here. You can't start to think, all right, I'm almost out of this mess.
Especially with this guy at the plate. Ball one.
He just got pinched a little bit there. Pretty good looking pitch.
This is Soriano's best RBI year with the Cubs. Ground ball and backhanded. Dominguez, long throw across. Nice play by Matt Dominguez at third, with a couple of men on to end the top of the 5th inning. Superb glove work to the backhand side by Dominguez. 1-0 Houston. Well, in the 3rd inning, AT&T has trivia for us. Name the 7 #1 overall draft picks who have hit 40 home runs or more in a single major league season.
7. Wow.
Well, there are 7 who have done that.
I'll go with A-Rod.
Oh yeah. How about let's see.
How about Adrian Gonzalez? Was he #1 overall?
Let's see. Chipper Jones hasn't hit 40, has he? Yes, he has. Okay. All right. We have 4 more, JD.
And we're doing pretty good so far.
See, Rick Monday didn't hit 40, did he?
No.
Okay. What about was Reggie Jackson a #1 overall pick? #2 overall. Okay. Jeff Burrows.
Right. Good one. Bob Horner.
I was going to guess him too. I don't know if he was #1 overall. No.
I think he was #1 overall, but I don't know if he hit 40.
Scott Moore is pinch hitting for Jordan Lyles as the bottom of the 5th inning gets underway. Jordan pitching effectively, but with a high pitch count coming out of this game. Dave Winfield is another possibility. Scott Moore, the former Cub, taking ball 1. He's been out with a groin injury the last 5 days or so.
Oh my. This has been out in front of a lot of the offerings from Germano. Got to stay back. How about to Phil Nevin?
Phil Nevin. Where are we now? Do we have all of them? No, we need 2 more. Boy, this is a tough one.
I don't know. I think we're in bonus territory now.
Oh,
5 like that, man.
We're golden.
We're doing good.
2 balls and a strike to Moore. He left the game Wednesday at Pittsburgh with the left groin strain. This is his first appearance since then. And ropes a line drive to right. It's a nice start as the pinch hitter comes through here in the home 5th inning for Houston.
He's out in front of that first one and then able to stay back there and deliver a good solid line drive. Astros have a leadoff man aboard for the first time tonight.
He'll lead for a pinch runner too. Jordan Schaefer running for Moore. So Moore won't be having to do anything as far as running with that groin injury. 94 pitches for Lyles tonight. Jordan in 5 innings allowing just 2 hits, no runs, walking 2, fanning 5. Working out of trouble, working around 3 errors. Now it's Jimmy Paredes. He has scored the only run in this game after a single to center in the 3rd. He's 1 for 2.
Josh Hamilton.
Oh, yeah. One more. Let's see. B.J. Upton hasn't hit 40. Jean Beliveau is warming up.
He scored a lot of goals.
Yeah. He might have gotten 40 goals.
Oh, yeah.
Can we count hockey on this baseball trivia? So Jordan Lyles with an effective night. 5 innings of 2-hit shutout ball. Walking 2, fanning 5, 94 pitches, and the Astros are going with a 6-man rotation. They are limiting some innings on some of the guys, so 5 innings is all they ask of Jordan tonight.
Good solid effort. A little wobbly early on with a lot of traffic, but pitched around it, pitched around 3 errors. That'll earn you an extra team ball. Picking up the boys.
And 3rd time through the order. No problem for Jordan Lyles tonight. Ground ball to second. Here's the play at second, and out as Schaefer jumped over that ball and was trying to rush to beat the throw from Cardenas to Castro, but the Cubs pull off the play for out number 1.
Boy, an aggressive play there by Cardenas. I don't know that a lot of second basemen would have made this play, but he got the lead runner. Awfully close.
Really close.
Again, we talked about it last night. We talked about it when we played the Cubs earlier, how they do not play at double play depth. They'll just go ahead and play their normal positioning on the pull side, and then the offside fielder will pinch towards the bag. If he's playing a normal double play depth, that's probably a base hit.
Paredes in the minors at Oklahoma City had 37 steals and 47 tries. He draws the throw. Fernando Martinez doubled in the 1st inning, reached on an error in the 3rd.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Oh, yeah. Does that do it?
How do we miss Jr.?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to miss these trivia questions. We do it all the time.
I like that one. That's a good one.
Excellent question.
Strike. You can sink your teeth into. Ruminate on for a while.
Speaking of sinking our teeth into things, did you have a sopapilla tonight?
I did not. How was it? Pretty good?
Yeah. Ball dropped there at first by LaHair. No balls and a strike to Fernando Martinez. Colorado is scoring early against the Giants and Madison Bumgarner, and it's 4-0 Rockies, bottom of the 3rd. They're still batting in the 3rd inning against Bumgarner. Stirring up trouble for that Giant team. Beat them last night. Popped up. Castro out into shallow left field. Style points. 2 outs. AT&T wanted to know the 7 number 1 overall picks who hit 40 homers in the big leagues. There they are.
It was Griffey Jones, Nevin Rodriguez, Hamilton, Gonzalez. Thinking, well, what about some of those really old timers? Well, there was no draft back in the day. It was instituted in 1965, was it?
First player ever drafted 1965, Rick Monday.
Yeah. Out of Arizona State University.
Speaking of which, Fred Wallace from that same institution comes up now. And he has struck out and walked in this game.
Willie Mays probably would have been a first-round pick.
Oh, yeah. Johnny Bench was the second player drafted, I believe, in '65. He was a second-round pick. Okay. Now we'll have to go back and research who was the Reds' first-round pick that year. Runner going. Here's the throw from Clevenger, and not in time. Stolen base for Paredes, number 2.
Pretty good throw there by Clevenger, who's only caught 11% this year. It's a slow breaking ball that he has to deal with, but he gets off a nice throw. Paredes just ahead of the tag.
One to Wallace. Plenty of room on the left side of the infield for Brett. Second steal for Paredes gets him into scoring position. And time is called. That's quite a series in Baltimore, and the Birds have been drawing very well in recent days. They are taking it to Tampa Bay. 7-2 Baltimore, top of the 8th. No balls, 2 strikes. Chris Davis hit his 25th for the Orioles. J.J. Hardy, number 20. And the Birds getting strong pitching as well tonight against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay pitches well, but is offensively challenged. Jeff Keppinger's having a nice year for them. He's hitting .327. But they sometimes don't have much power. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bernie Carbo was drafted ahead of Johnny Bench.
He was a good player.
He was a good player. Actually blossomed after he left Cincinnati and hit that big couple of big World Series home runs against the Reds when he was with Boston. He and Sparky Anderson flashed. Wallace is down on strikes. That ends the 5th inning. It's strikeout number 8 for Germano. The Astros lead at 1-0. Replay. We take a look back not at baseball scenes, but the first responders who are being honored tonight, and they were on the field before the game on Heroes Night as we remember the events of 9/11. And these folks who do so much for the rest of us in the community, we thank them for their efforts down through all the years. The roof was open last night, but it's several degrees warmer tonight than it was 24 hours ago. So it's been close for this ball game. And now with the Astros leading at 1-0, it's Xavier Cedeno coming in. He had a brief appearance last night, 1/3 of an inning, retiring a left-handed hitter Rizzo, and he's at 0-1 for the season.
Well, Jordan Lyles will hang on tight and hope his bullpen can string some zeros here, preserve his win. Cedeno, the first man out of the chute. He'll face a right-handed hitting Starlin Castro, and then 3 lefties scheduled to follow.
Castro is 0 for 2. Castro's trying to halt his hitting streak at 8 games. Cedeno has pitched scoreless baseball in 16 of his 17 games here at home this year. And opponents are hitting 167 against him at Minute Maid Park. Breaking pitch comes in, and it's strike 1. Miami's coming back on the Phillies, and it's 8-7 now. Philadelphia, bottom of the 7th in Philly. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Top of the 9th in Cincinnati, 5-3 Reds over the Pirates. Scott Rowland hit his 7th for the Reds. Flared, and Tyler Green goes out into left center field on this one. It drops in for a hit in front of Maxwell. A looping single for Castro, giving him a 9-game hitting streak.
Well, that's the thing with Castro. You know, he gets a lot of base hits, but he has enough power to back up an outfielder, so you can't cheat in on him. It creates a little room between the infield and the outfield where a ball like this can drop in. Bit of bad fortune for Cedeno.
Yeah.
He really pitched him well. A couple breaking balls and jammed him with that heater.
Now it's lefty hitting Steve Clevenger, the catcher. And the throw goes over. Castro has 24 stolen bases in 37 attempts. He stole one last night. Michael Bowden is getting loose for the Cubs.
Michael Bolton.
Here's ball 1. Michael Bolton, is he still performing?
Somewhere, probably.
Okay. Clevenger's 26 years old. He's from Baltimore. Went to junior college in Florida. That's a strike to him, and it's 1-1. He had just 4 at-bats for the Cubs last year. Hit well for them in the minor leagues.
You're talking last inning about the 65 draft where Rick Monday was the first pick, and mentioned Johnny Bench going in the 2nd round. 3 catchers were taken in the 1st round that year.
Ooh.
Not named Johnny Bench.
Any of them pan out?
Ray Fosse.
He panned out.
Our good buddy Gene Lamont.
Sure.
Was the 13th overall pick that year by the Tigers.
That's right.
And Gene got a cup of coffee in the big leagues.
Yeah.
And the White Sox drafted a catcher out of Notre Dame by the name of Ken Plesha.
Don't know him.
Plesha, P-L-E-S-H-A. I'm not familiar with Ken.
Nope. 2 balls and a strike.
See, but that is why the Astros have Sig Mejdal and that team of evaluators crunching the numbers, they're breaking it down, computer modeling. They're not going to make that mistake.
Okay.
There's not going to be any Ken Plesha's picked ahead of Johnny Bench in this organization.
All right.
Forward.
Well, that's a very bold proclamation by you on their part.
Think I put a little pressure on them?
A little bit.
Let's just say they're there to minimize those types of mistakes.
Okay. It's a very inexact science, the draft. They're trying to make it more scientific, it sounds like. Trying to make it more exact.
Crunch all the numbers, get all the variables possible.
Well, Phil Nevin, for example, one of those guys in that trivia question. Astros taking him with the 1st overall pick, and he just didn't pan out when he was with Houston. Later on with San Diego, he had big years. That's when he hit the 40 home runs.
Yeah. So you can't really call that a miss.
No, it wasn't a miss. It was just kind of a delay.
It's unfortunately for the Astros, he wasn't still here when he figured it out.
True. Strikeout here.
See, this Cedeno, that drop down delivery. He's got a breaking ball that can kind of lock you up from the left side. I like his chances going forward. I think he's got a chance to be a real good, if nothing else, situational left-hander.
LeHair is on the bench there. He's been called back. And it's going to be Dave Sapelt, who had the big game last night. And Sapelt had 2 doubles and drove in 3, batting 8th last night, playing right field. So we'll see if Tony DeFrancesco has a corresponding move to this pinch hit move by the Cubs skipper Dale Swain. Apparently not. LeHair was 1 for 2 while he was in there. Managers have all these extra players in September, so you see a lot of wheeling and dealing in these September games. Sapelt is 3 for 15. He's driven in 3. Dave had that big game last night, and his 2-out double drove in 2 in the 7th inning. That gave the Cubs a 3-run lead. Sunday he got his first hit with the Cubs. He's a former Red player. Sapelt takes a look at ball 1. Sapelt in Iowa played in 84 games in right, in center, and finished with 12 outfield assists. He came in the trade for Sean Marshall over the winter. And Travis Wood came along with him, as well as minor leaguer. He was a 9th round pick in the 08 draft by the Reds. Reed Johnson was with the Cubs earlier this year. He was traded to the Braves. Runner going. It's a foul ball. 1-1. Sapelt is from Buffalo, New York. He went to Coastal Carolina. And you were telling us the nickname of Coastal Carolina, JD.
Yeah, the Chanticleers.
He played for the Chanticleers. Cubs in Houston here. Bill Brown, Jim Deshaies, Greg Lucas, Patty Smith, Bart Ennis, Steve Sparks, Phil Boudreau, MC Hazel, Perry Furman, Mike Uguccione. Who else is here tonight? Bill Thornell's here tonight. Bob Brenly, Len Casper. Oh no, they're on the Cubs telecast. Never mind. That's enough people.
Jason's going to cut your mic if you don't mention his name.
Jason Martin. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ray, Cliff, Don, cameraman
Kim Elston.
Throughout the ballpark.
Kim Elston is researching a project for me right now, JD.
What's he doing?
Dan Rather reportedly was the PA announcer the first year of the Houston Colt 45s. We're checking that out.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that. I did a little Google search on that, and I read that somewhere.
We think that are the Houston Buffs. He did some broadcasting for the Buffs. You know that. Runner going and it's foul back. He was, of course, a newsman in Houston and gained fame for covering hurricanes, but later going on to fame with CBS News. But he loved baseball and was involved in pro baseball here in Houston during his early years. So we're checking that out.
He probably said things like, he's hotter than a Times Square Rolex.
He very well might have said exactly that.
This game's tighter than a 2-wet bathing suit on a ride home from the beach.
Oh. Well, he spent a lot of time on the beach. Those hurricanes. I always hate to see those reporters out in the hurricane, right?
Hanging onto a stop sign that are parallel to the ground.
Now there's a delay. Something's on the field in right center field. Brian Bogusevic retrieving it. It was Hurricane Carla, and he was at the Flagship Hotel doing his reports. Dan Redder.
To Sam Houston State.
Yeah, and he was the first to use the radar extensively and actually put it on the screen for broadcast. Pitch out. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Now we see that all the time. Two balls, 2 strikes to Dave Chappelle. Yankees and Boston are tied after 8. It's 3-3 at Fenway. Big game for the Yankees tonight. They try to retain their spot atop the AL East. Washington 5, the Mets 2, top of the 9th in New York. Line drive right field corner. Bogusevic over to try to stop it. He does, but it's going to be extra bases into Paredes, and it's a double for Chappelle. Another double for him after a couple last night. He's a doubles machine in this series.
This game is tied if not for the effort from Brian Bogusevic to hustle over there and cut this ball off before it can get to the wall. Then the good strong throw in that keeps Castro at third base for the time being. Well played by Bogusevic. But another big swing of the bat by the Chappelle show. The Cubs have a chance not only to tie the game but to take the lead with a base hit.
3 doubles this season, all 3 in this series. And Darwin Barney is going to pinch hit for Cardenas with 1 out and runners at second and third. But Tony DeFrancesco apparently wants a different pitcher. And he wants to switch to a right-hander. Barney has a 6-game hitting streak. He had 2 hits and a walk last night, 2 for 4. Mickey Story will come in to face him right after this.
Proud to present Chevy Hometown Kids. It's not about the score, it's about the experience. So tune in each Saturday at 10 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Houston or visit hometownkids.tv for more information. Bill?
Thanks, Patty. Mickey Story comes in. He inherits runners at second and third and 1 out and faces pinch hitter Darwin Barney. He's 0-1 with a 2.74 ERA.
Right side of the infield. Nope. Freddie's peeling off now. They're going to play back, concede a run. Just a man on third. They probably would have the infield pulled in here, but 2 runners in scoring position. Be a big gamble to pull that infield in this situation.
Strike to Barney. Story's done a nice job of the breaking stuff. 257 for Darwin. 6 homers, 39 runs batted in. 6-game hitting streak. He is 7 for 23 during those. in the air, and that'll hang for Maxwell with a runner tagging at third. Castro. Maxwell with a catch. Castro coming home. The throw goes to third. And there is an out at third base.
Didn't score.
The run did not score before the out at third.
They had the right guy running, and what a play by Maxwell.
And that is a big call, as Castro is not able to touch home before the tag play for the final out at third, keeping the score 1-0 Houston. Third tagging on this fly ball to Maxwell. Maxwell alertly makes the throw to third, not home. And Castro does not touch home plate before the final out of the inning at third, so the run does not count.
Castro did not go all out down the line. It's interesting to watch Maxwell. He's squared up behind this ball as if he's going to throw home. And I'm not sure if it was just a last-minute decision or if he was just trying to dig Sapelt into thinking that he was going to go home, maybe take a little steam out of his legs. But whatever it was, he made the right play with a great throw to third. And Castro, who time and time again has had mental lapses young in his career with the Cubs, again cost his club by not hustling down the line.
Starlin Castro could have run hard and scored that run, but instead the run never scored. Dave Sapelt stays in the game, playing right field.
He didn't do the hustle.
No, he didn't. Darwin Barney's in at second base. Joe Mather at first base. Still 1-0 because the run did not count. And it's Maxwell leading it off.
Jordan Lyles came out of his seat with that play. He's still in position to get the win because of that play.
You bet. Michael Bowden in the game with a 4.38 ERA. Or Justin Germano, who went 5, allowing 1 unearned run. No balls, 2 strikes. Germano allowed 3 hits, and that 1 run was not earned. He walked 1 and he fanned 8.
Tying a career high with those 8 punch outs. Bowden is fastball, slider, changeup.
Really a lesson for Castro to run hard all the way through home plate on a play like that.
Yeah, I didn't see the on deck hitter. He should have been down there letting him know too. Come on, come on, come on. I mean, that's something you should know and you should do all the time, but it's a good idea for your teammate to let you know.
Good job by the umpiring crew. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Home plate umpire Paul Nauert immediately indicating that the run did not score because that is a timing play. And when the tag is made on the bases is critical to that run, either scoring or not scoring, and the tag was made before he stepped on a home plate. Smack past the diving Castro, and Maxwell has a 5-game hitting streak.
Yeah, and it's interesting because that's a very difficult call for an umpire to make, because two things are happening simultaneously, and there's no way you can see them both all that well. He's got a good look, though. He's looking down the line at the play at third. Hard to know exactly when Castro touches home plate. He was going hard initially, then he kind of went into breakdown mode.
Yep.
The steal was there. Now it rules no run, and you can really have to break it down to see how close that really was.
Now Carlos Corporani has struck out twice. Germano threw 81 pitches, 51 for strikes. Xavier Cedeno in 1/3 of an inning allowed 2 hits, no runs with no walks, 1 strikeout. Big play by Justin Maxwell. The 8-5 double play, really critical in this game. And he's going to try to work his way around and score a run. Dominguez on deck. Bowden with the throw. Maxwell has 7 steals in 10 tries. Michael Bowden came over from the Red Sox. He was traded for Marlon Byrd in April of this year. He's 25 years old from Winfield, Illinois. With Valbuena coming in from third, there's strike 1 to Corporan. Good ball game in Milwaukee. 1-0 Brewers over the Braves. We'll move from Milwaukee to Atlanta in the mid-60s. And that is a pitching duel between Tim Hudson, and now Estrada has left after 6 2/3 for Milwaukee. Ricky Weeks at a first-inning homer. His 18th.
The second half been a lot better than his first. He had nowhere to go but up. He really struggled early on.
That's a ball to Corporan. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, Tim Hudson is mentioned in the upcoming movie Trouble with the Curve, starring Clint Eastwood. Clint plays an Atlanta Braves scout who references Tim Hudson when the game is on TV in one of the scenes.
Yeah, it's me and you on there, Brandon.
That's what we hear.
We haven't been cut yet?
We don't know. It's coming out September 21st.
Are we invited to the premiere?
Nope.
We're going to be listed in the credits?
Nope.
Nothing? Not even. Uh-oh.
Runner going, and it's a pitch out. He stops and tries to get back. Castro with a throw to Mather. Mather hits him in the back, and he's safe. Well, the Cubs thought they had him, and they're claiming they tagged him before he got there. Darwin Barney said he picked up the ball and tagged him, but Doug Eddings said called him safe. Now Dale Swain comes out to argue the point.
This is kind of a goofy play. Heads up play by Maxwell to slam on the brakes and get into the rundown. Well, I think Barney made the play.
He
Barney got him. That's a tough call for the umpire. You just don't anticipate that carom going right to the second baseman. The Cubs also claiming that Maxwell ran in the path of that ball, and to a degree he did. He didn't know where the throw was coming, though. He just tried to present himself in a position that would make it difficult for Mather to make this throw. See, Justin slides to the inside towards Castro. Justin's actually trying to draw a little contact to get an interference call.
Yeah.
And ultimately he was out at second base.
Well, what about the contact with Castro, though?
I don't think it ever happened.
Okay.
He was running at him.
I think he brushed him a little bit. Let's see.
So the throw had already hit Maxwell. The throw hit Maxwell.
So Doug Eddings had a lot to consider on that call. Dale Swain, it's like he can't believe the explanation he's been getting.
A base runner cannot move intentionally into the path of the thrown ball, but when you can't see the ball. Remember the World Series when Reggie stuck his hip out
Yes.
at first base and they blew the call?
Yes.
This is a different situation for me because Maxwell, he's trying to run into the path of where he's anticipating the ball being thrown, and he did. I don't know. I'd have to get the rule book out on that, but I think Maxwell's okay. I think ultimately the call was missed on the tag at second base.
Right. Yeah, the runner, if he's not looking back there and he doesn't know exactly where the throw is coming, he can move a little bit without it being obvious that he's trying to interfere with the throw. Barney talking with the umpire there, Eddings, and they're about to go back to play with the count 2-1 on Corcoran. Cubs botching that pitch out. They had him in a rundown and they blew that. And Castro was trying to get that ball thrown to him quicker by Mather. Mather had moved in from right field to first base this inning. Now it's 2 balls and a strike. Should be an error given on that, and we haven't heard yet what the ruling was. Oh, it's a rule of stolen base. Okay, that's what we're hearing. I would have ruled an error on the throw that hit the runner, but not a big deal. Could be to Michael Bowden. We'll wait and see. Swing there, and 2 balls, 2 strikes to Corcoran.
I'm with you. I would have ruled an error on Mather, but I don't know all the intricacies of official scoring. I'm not sure what
We're better off not knowing, JD.
Been around this game my whole life, and I still find myself scratching my head up here. What the hell? I haven't seen that before.
Exactly. Yep. 2-2 to Corcoran. A lot of times a ruling that we think we would make, by the rules they can't make that. Yeah. Struck him out.
Tough night for Carlos. That's the 3rd time he's gone down swinging. A lot going on there before the swing, the way he swivels his hips and throws the hands back, and if he doesn't get started in time, he's going to get beat by a good fastball, and that's exactly what happened there.
Now Matt Dominguez gets the RBI opportunity with a runner at second and 1 out. He struck out looking in the second. He grounded out in the 4th. Giants have just scored 4 in the 4th to tie it at Colorado, 4-4 after 4. Baumgartner hit a homer, his second. Strike 1. Dodgers and Arizona scoreless after 2.5 with Kershaw pitching well in the desert.
Good matchup. Ian Kennedy's going for the Diamondbacks tonight.
Good. He's been prone to the home run this year.
About a little insurance.
That would be nice. Well, last night, starter for the Cubs, Chris Volstad, went 5 innings. He allowed 1 run. And he came out after the Cubs scored in the 6th for a 2-1 lead. And he got the win. So for a second straight night, it might be the starting pitcher leaves with a 1-run lead and gets a win. Jordan Lyles tonight in line for that. Foul back by Matt Dominguez. Ian Kennedy in his last 6 starts against the Dodgers is 4-1 with a 2.82 ERA. Diamondbacks lead the season series against the Dodgers 10-6. And you know Kirk Gibson would love to play spoiler against the club he helped to win the World Series in 1988.
And I'm sure Gibby's still telling his troops they have a fighting chance. He will concede nothing.
Out to center field. Jesus started in. Now he had to go up for the catch. Here's the throw to third, and it's cut off. Out number 2, Maxwell tagging, and he's at third for Bogusevic now.
A good swing there by Matt. Hits it hard, and Jesus actually misread this ball initially. First step or 2 was in. You see the way Dominguez finishes that swing. He's got a lot of backspin and therefore carry on that drive. There goes the Jesus. running a little button hook out there in center field.
Now it's Brian Bogusevic. He struck out and grounded out. Tyler Green's on deck. DeJesus is moving over into right center on Bogusevic. Strike one. Boston's batting in the bottom of the ninth against the Yankees, tied 3-3. David Robertson in the game for New York. Dustin Pedroia hit his 15th home run earlier. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. It's a wild one in Philly, 9-7. Phillies lead Miami. In the bottom of the 8th. Texas 6, Cleveland 2, bottom of the 7th. Adrian Beltre, number 31. Big year for Beltre. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bogey. That's your favorite catcher technique.
Yeah, right.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
For me, every pitcher's different. Whenever a guy got way out of the strike zone, like way outside or up like that, it presented such a funky look. It was very difficult to make the pitch. I had no problem throwing the ball high. I had a hard time getting it down.
Struck him out. No runs a hit, a runner stranded at third base, and after 6, it's 1-0 Houston.
By Hyundai, if it's fuel efficient, affordable, stylish, and safe, it's probably a Hyundai. And by AT&T, rethink possible. Next season, the Astros move to the American League. Schedule may be out tomorrow, but we're going to see a guy named Mike Trout of the Angels many times, and he has become the first rookie ever with at least 25 homers and 45 stolen bases in the same year. Lucky Astro fans will get to see him. Hopefully he won't do much damage.
Well, he's sure doing a lot of damage this season. Now Tony DeFrancesco talks things over with Paul Nauert. Mickey Story had come in the 6th inning, and now it looks as if he wanted to see who was going to be announced as a pinch hitter, and it's lefty hitting Tony Campana. So here is Brandon Barnes coming out to play right field for Brian Bogusevic. Bogusevic made the last out in the 6th inning, so Barnes will go into the 9th spot in the order, and the new pitcher Wesley Wright will go into that 7 position, vacated by Bogusevic, to give a lefty on lefty matchup for the Astros, unless there's a counter move by Dale Swain. And here comes Wesley Wright. Patty?
Sure to come on down to Minute Maid Park Friday, September 14th, before the 7:05 game as the Astros take on the Phillies. 10,000 fans will receive a commemorative Houston Astros fleece blanket presented by the Methodist Hospital System. Gates open at 5:30, so root now and buy tickets at astros.com. Guys?
Sounds like a plan, Patty. Wesley Wright warming up now in this tight 1-0 ball game. And we've had all kinds of action for a 1-0 game. But the scoring doesn't really tell the story of the action in this one. Barnes is getting his arm loose as he comes in the double switch. And it's Wright, and with Campana to lead it off, and apparently he is going to hit, and he'll be followed by another lefty hitter, De Jesus, and another Valbuena, unless changes are made. So that's the setup for Tony DeFrancesco to bring in a lefty with an 0-2 record and a 3.45 ERA.
68th time now for Wesley Wright to trot out there and work his magic. Pretty solid year. We talked about Cedeno and his development, and Wesley, he's kind of the old guard now. Senior member of this club in terms of tenure with the Astros. Hard to believe.
It really is. It's amazing. He joined the Astros in the 08 season. And Wesley's just 27 years old, but yeah, he has tenure. Tony Campana has hit .242 against lefties, and he's a speedy sort. If he gets on base, he'll probably be thinking strongly about running. And he might be thinking about a bunt as they pinch in at the corner infield spots. Here's strike one to Campana from the University of Cincinnati.
Yeah, if you were to put a relay team together, 4x100 of National Leaguers, I think he'd be on it. He can fly.
He's fun to watch. Throws his body around in the outfield. No balls, 2 strikes. Tony's 26 years old. He was born in Kettering, Ohio. Alberto Castillo getting ready for the Cubs. Campana chokes up on the bat. Started, and yeah, home plate umpire Paul Nauert said he went through with the swing for a strikeout.
So important to keep him off base. The world of opportunity opens up for Dale Swain with Campana on. Straight steal, little bunt and run, hit and run. Any number of options, but he cannot steal first.
Well, when he did steal, he was 27 for 30 this year as he came to the plate then. So your point is well taken. Now it's David De Jesus. He's 1 for 3. Several Astros players visited with firefighters today, as has been the case for the last 4 years. There's strike one. Chris Snyder, Ryan Bogusevic, Justin Maxwell, and Jose Cruz went to 4 different firehouses. Same firehouses as their uniform numbers. There is Jose Valdez warming up. Mickey Story in 2/3 of an inning allowed no hits, no runs. He had no walks, no strikeouts. Got that double play ball, the fly ball to Maxwell. That turned out well. One hopper, off the glove of Paredes and on by him. That's going to be his 3rd error of the night.
Right about now, Jimmy's thinking, kind of digging this outfield idea. Sharply hit, no doubt. When he starts to retreat, he's back on his heels. You can't corral that nasty hop.
And now it's going to be Valbuena batting. Valbuena is 0 for 3. He reached on one of those Paredes errors back in the 1st inning. Jimmy made another one in the 3rd, and then this one, and then there's an error on Tyler Green. So 4 tonight.
We haven't gotten official ruling yet. Official score may show a little mercy on Paredes. Nope, no
He does
mercy.
not. Nope.
The Emperor gave the thumbs down.
3 errors for Paredes, but the Astros pitchers have worked around all these errors so far. And you know, we talk about stats all the time. Well, what percentage of the time in a big league game does the team with more hits win? Well, that's a high percentage. And also there's a ridiculously high percentage when a team makes 4 errors in a game and loses. In this case, the Astros lead it 1-0.
Pitching needs to overcome those miscues.
Broken bat looper. Tyler Green in, makes the catch on it. 2 outs.
Well, and not all errors are created equally either. There are balls that are hitting, and my goodness, that play's got to be made. Then there are others that, man, that's tough. They could have gone either way. And there's been 2 of those tonight. Green's was a sharply hit ball that could have been ruled a base hit, and likewise with that one there on Paredes.
Joe Mather struck out in the 5th inning. Came off the bench when Rizzo was hurt on that collision with Brett Wallace in the 3rd inning. On the high throw from Paredes for his 2nd error.
Jesus has not been a very effective base stealer this year. He's stolen 7, but he's been caught 8 times.
That is not effective at all.
No.
Michael Bowden in 1 inning allowed 1 hit, no runs. He had no walks, and he struck out 2 for the Cubs in relief of Justin Germano. The A's pitcher Brandon McCarthy has been discharged from the hospital. That's good news. Took a line drive to his head and underwent emergency brain surgery. Fractured skull. There's strike 1.
Interesting to see how he comes back. I've known some guys, played with a couple guys in the minor leagues that have been whacked by comebackers, and they were never the same. Couldn't throw a pitch without flinching.
Yeah. And guys who have been beaned can't hang in there. It's an understandable problem. McCarthy is expected to miss the remainder of the season and postseason. Paredes out into right field, makes that catch. And once again, the Astros pitching staff works around an error in the middle of the 7th inning. It is still a 1-0 ball game at Minute Maid Park. And we get some of the heroes coming out on the field right now to be saluted here on Heroes Night. In this 1-0 ball game, and we'll stay right here for this patriotic moment.
Welcome home, gentlemen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, on this day of solemn remembrance, we invite you to please raise your American flags in honor of those lost on September 11th, 2001, and the unwavering commitment of men and women who protect our country's freedom as we sing God Bless America with Levon Ingram.
God bless America, the land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light up above. From the mountains to the prairie to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
On the Maxwell sacrifice fly in the third. Hey, tomorrow is Wednesday. That means it's email the booth time. And if you'd like to send in a question, here's all you got to do. Go to foxsportshouston.com. Then click on the Astros Open Star logo. And when that opens, go to the Game Connect spot. And at Game Connect, you will see a little box that says Ask the Broadcasters. After you get there, you send in the question. Browning and JD will answer them on the air tomorrow in the pregame show. Guys?
Please feel free to send us questions. Thanks, Greg. Here is Alberto Cabrera. He has an ERA of 7.30 with no decisions in 12 and a third innings, and he works to Tyler Green.
Yeah, walks have been a big problem at the big league level for him. He's just 23 years of age. Signed at 17, worked his way up through the Cubs system. Good numbers at AA and AAA combined this year before coming up. Tremendous strikeout rate.
It's 1-1.
55 innings. He struck out 74 and walked only 14 down there. So a high walk count here, maybe just a matter of not trusting his stuff, giving too much credit to big league hitters. A little jittery, perhaps.
Broken bat roller goes out to Barney at second, and he guns it over to first. One out. 126 consecutive errorless games at second base for Darwin Barney. That's a National League record. Brandon Barnes, who entered the game in the double switch, comes up with a 175 average for 57 at bats. Barnes has 1 homer and 5 runs batted in. Each club with 4 hits. The Cubs have 1 error. The Astros have 4 miscues. Chicago has left 9. Houston has stranded 6. And strike 1 for Cabrera. Cubs will have Soriano, Castro, and Clevenger due up in the 8th. The Orioles knocked off the Rays 9-2. Johnson the winner, Moore the loser.
The Yankees were beaten by Boston. That means a tie again atop the AL East.
That with identical 79-62 records. New York and Baltimore in a dead heat. Yankees at one point had a 10-game lead. The Orioles looking good, period. Wild card spot if they don't win their division. There's a strikeout for out number 2.
It's an explosive 95-mile-an-hour fastball there from Mr. Cabrera.
Yeah, it did explode. Jimmy Paredes has scored the only run of this game. He singled to center field. Took third on the error by Clevenger and scored on the sac fly by Maxwell. He's 1 for 3. There's strike 1. Now the Orioles now have more wins than they have had in a season since '98. It's no balls, 2 strikes to Jimmy Paredes.
Detroit has come back to take a lead over the White Sox 3-2 after 7 in Chicago. And Detroit has Scherzer and Verlander lined up to pitch the final 2 games of that series.
Struck him out looking. That's a quick 7th inning for Cabrera. And a 1-0 lead for Houston after 7. game series. Matching Travis Wood, the lefty with a 5-11 record and a 4.42 ERA, and the Astros counter with a lefty of their own, Fernando Abad. He's 0-3. His ERA is 5.30. He's made the transition from reliever to starter. That's the matchup tomorrow night, and you can watch Astros live before the game at 6:30. Jose Altuve is in the game, playing second base now for the Astros. Jimmy Paredes leaving. Jimmy was 1 for 4. And here is the pitcher. Jose Valdez comes in with the 1-0 lead. Valdez did some closing at AAA Oklahoma City, and in 3 games this season for the Astros, he has an ERA of 0.
He had 21 saves down at Oklahoma City with a 4.95 ERA, 46 games pitched there.
Saturday night at Cincinnati, he worked an inning and a third. Some things have gone well for Jose in his return from the minor leagues. He faces Alfonso Soriano, who's 0 for 3. Jose had good strikeout numbers for the Red Hawks, fanning 59 and 43 2/3 innings.
Walk 12, so had a strikeout to walk ratio of almost 5-1. Did give up a lot of hits though for a closer. 53 hits in those 43 innings.
Goes with a split, and it's strike 1. Valdez, 29 years old, from the Dominican Republic, was in 12 games last year for the Astros. Wesley Wright in 1 inning allowed no hits, no runs. He had no walks and a strikeout, worked around an error. It's 0-2 to Soriano. Soriano certainly a threat to tie this game here in the 8th inning.
Valdez comes back with another split finger pitch. Soriano stands in there and he sees all kinds of arms and legs coming at him, and he takes a big swing at what he thinks is a fastball, and it's a splitter at 83 and way out in front.
And a strikeout. Valdez opens with an impressive display against Soriano.
The guy most likely to tie the game with one swing of the bat is quickly dispatched by Jose. Nice pitch here just off the outside corner and down.
Castro is next. Castro's 1 for 3. Castro could have scored the tying run in the 6th inning on a fly ball to center, but he didn't quite get home before Sapelt was tagged out, trying to tag and go from second to third on the Barney fly ball. Chopped foul, third base side, strike 1. If you're the guy who does something like Castro did, you're just hoping it's not a 1-0 final score. Yeah. Very talented 22-year-old player, though. He's done a whole lot of hitting in the early years of his career.
And it wasn't like he was dogging it down the line.
No.
He was running hard initially, just broke it down too soon. Last couple of steps and kind of backed off the gas pedal a little bit.
Of course, he had no idea what was going on behind him, but runner can't make assumptions. Last year he hit .307. He had 207 hits to lead the National League last year. It's 1-2 to Starlin Castro. James Russell and Jeff Beliveau all warming up in the bullpen. Dueling lefties with Fernando Martinez and Brett Wallace due to be the first 2 hitters in the bottom of the 8th, and then Justin Maxwell.
Probably Russell if the Cubs tie it or take the lead, and Beliveau if they're trailing.
So goes foul. Still a 1-ball 2-strike count. Milwaukee is trying to close out Atlanta. It's 5-0 Brewers in the top of the 9th in Milwaukee. Ramos Ramirez hit his 23rd to add to Ricky Weeks' 18th of the year. The Brewers very much showing signs of life in that wild card race. They can get back to 500. Phillies have done that with a 9-7 win. That's poked out to second base. Altuve in the game. taking care of the second out. They got hurt on a slide in Cincinnati in the second. Back a little bit quicker than some might have thought he would be with that strained abdominal muscle. Roy Halladay won his 10th as Philadelphia beat Miami 9-7, beating Nate Eovaldi. Jonathan Papelbon picked up his 33rd save. Steve Clevenger is 0 for 2 with a walk. So the Phillies are at 500, 71-71. Coming in here Thursday through Sunday. There's ball one. And there's the way it looks, JD.
Yeah, if the Cardinals lose tonight, the Brewers and Philly will both be just 4 off the pace for that second wild card spot. Cardinals currently have a 1-0 lead over the Padres after 2 innings.
Wainwright on the mound. 1-1. Mike Leake won for Cincinnati, beating Pittsburgh 5-3. Kevin Correa lost it. Jonathan Broxton got the save, his 24th, with concerns about Aroldis Chapman having a tired arm. And Chapman said that's all he thinks it is. He doesn't think it's anything major. 2 balls, 1 strike with Wilton Lopez warming for Houston. Tough stretch for the Pittsburgh Pirates now. That's 5 straight losses and 13 games in arrears of Cincinnati now.
9-21 in the last 30 ball games.
Oh, it's out of play. It's 2-2. Dusty Baker's Reds are coasting. They had a 9.5 game lead on St. Louis coming into play tonight. With Washington's 5-3 win at New York, Tom Gorzolani goes to 5-2. R.A. Dickey slips to 18-5. Tyler Clippard picking up save number 31. Strikeout looking very good. 8th inning for Jose Valdez, and a 1-0 lead for Houston.
The bottom of the 8th, and be sure to follow the Astros with the MLB.com @Bat12 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile. Get live audio, pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @Bat to 31826 or visit Astros.com for details. Bill?
Patty, we've got a 2 Martinez night for the Astros. JD's going to be pinch hitting for Fernando. Meanwhile, Mayor Anise Parker out on Heroes Night in downtown Houston at Minute Maid Park, and lefty Jeff Beliveau is the reason that JD Martinez is pinch hitting for Fernando Martinez to get a right-handed bat against the lefty Beliveau, who has an ERA of 4.50.
Beliveau, fastball, cutter, curveball on a change. So just a little bit of time here at the big leagues. 16 appearances. 4-5 with a 389 down at AAA this year in 37 ball games.
He had a rough series in Washington before the Cubs came here. He gave up runs in each of his 3 appearances. September 3rd, 4th, and 6th. J.D. Martinez is the man who faces him here, leading off the home 8th inning. J.D. at 238 has 11 homers. He's driven in 54 runs. As a pinch hitter, he's 3 for 10 with an RBI. Made a nice play from left field last night, picking up a hit on the short hop and throwing home to get his 7th outfield assist of the year. And he was talking about that on the bench during batting practice tonight. Big smile came to his face. He loves making plays like that. It was a tight ball game last night. That's ball 1. Jason Castro did a nice job on the 1-hop throw with the tag at home too.
Change up. Peter.
Now 2 balls, no strikes. JD now is 4th among left fielders in the National League with the 7 outfield assists. And he's been in the minor leagues for weeks too.
Fun to play left field in this ballpark. There are problems with having to play left field here, learning to play that wall and the way it disappears towards the visitors' bullpen. But because you do play more shallow and have a chance to handle caroms off that wall, you get opportunities to throw out base runners that you wouldn't in other parks.
Yeah.
Larry Durker experimented with Richard Hidalgo in left field here at Minute Maid Park because of his cannon. He liked the idea of Hidalgo out there in left field, just turning doubles into singles.
A defensive weapon. Ball 4, pinch walk for J.D. Martinez.
And certainly at the stage of the game now where a 1-run strategy is in play, probably not going to ask Brett Wallace to drop a bunt down. He may be inclined to try it on his own, though, with a lefty out there.
True.
If they don't defend it, and right now they're not. Bueno, the third baseman, is off the line and deep. Wouldn't be a bad play.
No. Wallace is 0 for 2 with a walk, 2 strikeouts for Brett. That's strike 1. Beliveau is from Rhode Island.
Probably French Canadian roots. There's a lot of people in that part of the country.
Okay. He migrated south and went to Florida Atlantic.
Also the College of Charleston. He was an outfielder until his senior year in high school. And then he went 10-0 with a 0.71 ERA as a senior.
That got somebody's attention. 1-1. He was an 18th round pick in 08, so perhaps not enough attention. 14,205 the paid attendance, JD.
Bishop Hendrickson High School in Warwick, Rhode Island. Not really a hotbed of baseball. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year for the state of Rhode Island.
Oh.
There you go, folks. Everything you need to know about the young left-hander.
25 years old. He pitched once against the Astros in the series at Wrigley Field, August 13th, 1 hitless inning. In that Milwaukee 5-0 shutout win over Atlanta, Braves got only 5 hits. Estrada was the winner. Out into right center field and caught on the run by De Jesus. JD back to first base, 1 out.
Swaim's going to make a change with Justin Maxwell due to bat.
Beliveau, who walked J.D. Martinez, then got Wallace, will give way to pitcher number 5 of the night for Dale Swaim. It's 1-0 Houston. Back in a moment. They're doing everything they can to keep the score 1-0 by calling in Manny Corpus. He'll inherit a runner at first and 1 out. He is 0-1 with 6 holds and a 4.46 ERA for Corpus. They'll be facing Justin Maxwell. Maxwell has sent home the only runner to score in this game on a sac fly in the 3rd inning. And he singled in the 6th. He also has a walk tonight. And he's thrown out a runner at 3rd base. Here's strike 1 to J-Max.
Tight little slider there from Corpus, who we first saw with the Colorado Rockies. Also been with the Rangers. Missed all of last year after Tommy John surgery.
He came up from Iowa June 6th to the Cubs. It's 0-2. J-Max not seeing the fastball. Corpus gave up runs in 2 of his last 3 outings. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
That's an 0-2 pitch right there, boy.
Yeah.
That's a good pitch. Tough to lay off when you're down in the count. One that close. See if they stay away or if they take a shot inside. Going to go back. Let's see. They're going to go back to the slider away.
Shot on the ground. Castro can't pick it up. Everybody's safe. Castro's charged with an error. His 24th of the year.
Just trying to be too quick with a potential double play ball. He's made more errors than any major league shortstop. This is pretty routine here. He gets it cleanly. They get their double play.
Now 2 men aboard with 1 out, and it's Carlos Corpron. Rough night for Castro so far. Corpron has struck out all 3 times he's been to the plate. JD Martinez attracting attention. It's a shot, a diving play by Mather. He didn't make the catch. He throws to second base, gets a force there.
No, he's already out.
And they get 1 out on the play anyway, right?
Yep. Campana's arguing for a double play. He's coming in from center field. Martinez is fine.
Yeah. Maxwell.
Campana.
Yeah, Maxwell.
Castro's arguing that he tagged JD while he was off the base. I didn't see that.
Didn't see that. They got the force on Maxwell from 3 to 6 because Mather looked like he had caught it at first, but he didn't hold on to it. So now DeMuth is gathering the crew together to confer on the play. And then Corporon reached first, so the
he's safe. He's good. Just checking with anybody. Did anybody see it differently? Did you see a tag play with Martinez off the base?
That's the way they position the runners at first and second with 2 outs now.
Good look at it here in slow motion. Line drive. Not caught, so the force is in order. There's no play there. He's good.
Corporon reaches. 3-6 force play on Maxwell for out number 2.
I don't. Did Castro even touch the base out there at second?
I think he did.
Ultimately, they tagged J-Max anyway. For good measure.
Yeah, he did. Dale Swaim out. That's out number 2 now. Runners at first and second. And Matt Dominguez will bat. Dominguez is 0 for 3. Each club has just 4 hits tonight. The Astros have made 4 errors. The Cubs have made 2 errors. That Red Sox-Yankees game, it went to the Red Sox 4-3 with a run in the bottom of the ninth. Andrew Bailey was the winner, and David Robertson lost it. Altuve's on deck. And that's ball one from Corpus.
Strange days for Bobby Valentine. It just seems like it's a foregone conclusion that he's done at the end of this year.
Well, they signed him to a 2-year deal before this season, so not a major commitment. Fly ball over shortstop out into left center. Soriano over for the grab. In the 8th inning for the Astros, it's no runs, no hits, an error, 2-man left. We move to the 9th, 1-0 Astros.
On the Giants as New York looks to bounce back from a tough opening day loss. Or the Cowboys battle the Seahawks with Dallas looking to stay unbeaten. Coverage begins this week with the Built Ford Tough Fox NFL Sunday pregame show at 11 a.m. Central, guys.
Thanks, Patty. A lot of exciting football action already. We look forward to that next weekend coming up. J.D. Martinez stays in the game to play left field after drawing the pinch walk. New pitcher, closer Wilton Lopez coming in with a 1-0 lead for the 9th inning.
Opportunity for Wilton to pick up his 4th save, and it would mean 4th win of the year for Jordan Lyles, who went 5 scoreless tonight and has had to just hang on for dear life as this game played out to see if that 1-run lead would hold up. So far, the efforts of Cedeno, Story, Wright, and Valdez have been good enough, and now it falls to Wilton Lopez to shut down the Cubs here in the 9th.
Dave Sapelt takes strike one. He came off the bench and ripped a double to right in the 6th inning. The Astros have 5 shutout wins this year. They've won a couple of games 1-0. Trying to make this their 3rd 1-0 victory. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Cubs have been blanked 11 times this season. That's a tap foul, and it's a 1-ball, 2-strike count for Wilton Lopez. Wilton worked a scoreless 9th inning Sunday in Cincinnati, closing out the 5-1 win. Allowed a couple of hits, but he struck out Drew Stubbs to end the game. In his last 20 appearances, he has a 1.83 earned run average. Right there for strike 3. Sapelt caught looking.
Little runner back over the outer 3rd.
Strikeout number 10 for Houston pitching. Now it's Darwin Barney. He is 2 for 5 against Lopez in his career. He hit the fly ball to center, caught by Maxwell. Maxwell throwing to 3rd to get Sapelt to complete the double play. And Castro was not able to score before that 3rd out of the inning, and that is a huge difference in this game right now. It's ball 1. there, and it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Yeah, the one thing we didn't see, I'd be curious to know, Castillo, who was the on-deck hitter for that play, if he was telling Castro to hold up because there's not going to be play made on you.
Okay.
And if you're a base runner coming down the line and you see that, you think, I can just kind of ease in because I'm not going to have to hit a catcher or slide, and they're not going to try to make a play on me.
Wellington Castillo on deck. This grounder. Altuve can't hold it. Tried the sliding play to his left. And Barney gets on with a single with 1 out here in the 9th inning. Altuve left his feet. Barney's aboard.
And this is the situation where you're glad they've already used Campana, because he's the one guy you don't want to see on base in the 9th inning of a 1-run game.
Now the pinch hitter Wellington Castillo comes up. Castillo 278, 4 homers, 15 runs batted in. Was the starting catcher last night. He had a single and 2 walks in the game. Strike 1.
That's a double play waiting to happen if he hits that one. Power turbo sinker. He runs pretty well. He's not a speed demon, but he's capable of stealing a base. He's 6 out of 7 this year.
Liner over second base into center field. Barney waited for it to clear the infield. He gets to second base on the pinch single by Castillo. And David DeJesus will bat with 2 on and 1 out. Manny Corpus, who left for the pinch hitter Castillo, went 2/3 of an inning. He allowed no hits, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. Delaveau worked 1/3 of an inning, allowing no hits, no runs, with a walk and no strikeouts. Now it's Brocale talking it over with his pitcher Lopez, and DeJesus will be coming up 1 for 4 tonight. Carlos Marmol is working for the Cubs in their bullpen. If there is a bottom of the 9th inning, it would be Altuve, Green, and Barnes batting for Houston. The Astros would much rather end it right here with a DeJesus double play ball. In the air to left field, J.D. Martinez. 2 outs. And Valbuena is due up next. He's 0 for 4. It's been Lyles, Cedeno, Story, Wright, Valdez, and Lopez. 6 pitchers working for Houston tonight. Cubs have 6 hits, only 1 of them better than a single. The Chappelle double in the 6th inning. Astros pitchers have walked 2. There's ball 1. Astros are 14 and 25 in 1-run games. All the way, it's 1-1.
6 errors total in this ball game. The run the Astros scored back in the 3rd, unearned.
Tough night for scoring. Cubs have stranded 9. The Astros have left 8. Run with a stop. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Lopez is pitching for the 3rd time against the Cubs this season. He has an ERA of 0 against them.
Bueno will be looking to shoot that 2-seamer from Lopez the other way.
In the air, foul, and out of play. 2-2. have won 4 straight on this road trip. The Astros trying to go 4-1 at home against Chicago this season. They have dropped 6 of their last 7 to the Cubs overall, but they're 4-6 this season against Chicago. Bouncer goes foul and still 2-2. Well, just a small piece of it.
A little piece, a little change up there from Lope. Cubs like Valbuena. He's a versatile player, could play different infield positions. Has very good hands.
Crowd has honored the heroes tonight before the game, during the game. Now hoping the Astros can put the lid on a 1-0 win. He got him on strikes. There's a 1-0 win for the Astros. Wilton Lopez closing it out. And the Astros winning with 4 errors for the first time since September of 2004 against Milwaukee. The pitchers really overcame those errors. Cubs stranded 11. And it's the 6th shutout win for the Astros this season, JD.
So that's the key. Make 4 errors is the winning formula. Who knew?
It was a wild one, and the only run that scored, an unearned run for Tony DeFrancesco's Astros. They now create a rubber game to the series tomorrow night. Final score, Astros 1, Cubs 0.